Now available in paperback and e-readers. John Haynes, 1987. Learn lessons about life and teenage love in the 1980s in this coming-of-age John Haynes story. Get your copy of John Haynes, 1987 in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Two firefighters were killed and one was wounded when they were ambushed as they were trying to fight a forest fire.
Breaking news, police in Idaho have identified the sniper they say intentionally started a brush fire and ambushed firefighters. Police say the shooter killed two firefighters and injured another near Coeur d'Alene. Let's get right to ABC's Alex Stone in Coeur d'Alene for more. Hi, Alex. What's the latest?
Hey there, Diane. Over the last couple of minutes, a lot of firefighters have been coming in to finally get back to fighting the wildfire after they had to pull out yesterday. Crime scene investigators coming in as well, as they are now coming up into this area, right up this road where the trailhead is down there. As you mentioned, we have now ID'd the suspect. Our sources are saying it is a Wes Rowley, was his name, now dead, found dead after cell phone signals they noticed were not moving. And they really honed in on that area and then found Wes Rowley dead in these woods here. Now, if he killed himself, if he was killed by a police bullet, they don't know. We know the ATF is working to trace the one weapon he had. They are searching the woods today to figure out if there are any more weapons that he had in these woods. They haven't found any yet. They know of the one, but Wes Rowley being the suspect. Diane.
All right, Alex Stone, thank you.
Now, in this alleged incident that took place in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, 20-year-old Wes Val Rowley allegedly was told by first responders to move his vehicle. Now, after being told to move his vehicle, Wes Val Rowley decided to move his vehicle further into a forest, and after going and moving his vehicle allegedly further into the forest, set a brush fire in the Idaho woods. And after setting this fire, he allegedly climbed up in a tree with a long gun and another firearm. And as firefighters looked to fight this fire, this is where Wes Rowley allegedly wound up shooting at these firefighters, winding up taking the lives of two of these firefighters and wounding a third before he wound up taking his own life. Now, his body was found next to his gun in the area of the blaze that he started in Canfield Mountain in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, 6 hours after the shooting began. And many are wondering what the motive was as related to this alleged shooting and believe it to be an isolated incident. But when I take a critical examination of Wes Rowley and his entire background, it definitely fits the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And based on Wes Val Rowley's background, he basically is definitely a man in crisis, who grew up in a very dysfunctional home filled with domestic violence from his beta male father. Now, Wes Val Rowley's father basically was a man who perpetrated domestic violence on Wes Val Rowley's mother, and eventually things got so bad that Wes Val Rowley's mother had to divorce her husband in 2015, and after she wound up divorcing her husband in 2015, this basically possibly exacerbated Wes Val Rowley's issues as related to things, because like I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis, divorce basically further makes boys progressively worse, and being in a home where you saw your father model violence and abuse, this has a major impact on a child, that makes it where they're not becoming healthy in a social way, but are growing up to become antisocial. And as they grow up to become antisocial, they look to hurt people in the world, to deal with the feelings of hurt that they are trying to process. Now, Wes Val Rowley, as he was growing up in this dysfunctional home that eventually became worse as his parents wound up divorcing, had dreams of becoming a firefighter and wanted to go out here and eventually fight forest fires However, I believe something went wrong as related to his life, and instead of him becoming that firefighter, he became a transient and a drifter, and basically drifted through life. And as he drifted through life, he was possibly simmering and boiling in anger. And as he was simmering and boiling in anger, as related to the state of his life being a complete mess due to the fact that his parents' marriage deteriorated through the anger as related to his father. What happened was, as this boy was seething with anger, he basically wound up exploding in a rage, at the very same firefighters he admired when they told him to move his vehicle. Once those male authority figures told him to move his vehicle, this is where Wes Valroli, I believe, got the motivation to look to do harm to these firefighters, because he couldn't live his dream of fighting those fires due to the sad state of his home. He couldn't live his dream of going out here and being able to fight those fires. And what happened with Wes Valroli is that he looked to explode in this rage, in a way to, again, look to go out in a blaze of glory, because he wasn't able to accomplish his dream. And because he wasn't able to accomplish his dream, he hoped to go out here and make everybody's life a nightmare by destroying the world around him. He hoped to destroy the world around him as related to that whole forest he was in. And as he went into that forest, I believe he set this fire to bait those firefighters and fake those firefighters into coming into that area, where he wound up ambushing those firefighters. And as he ambushed those firefighters, he wound up taking the lives of 2 of those firefighters. Again, these first responders were basically looking to save the lives of others, but because this guy couldn't live his life's dream, he hoped to go out here and look to destroy lives and look to go out in a blaze of glory, because this is the way beta males operate. If they can't have the life that they want, if they can't achieve the things that they want to achieve, they look to destroy the world around them. And that's what this guy wanted to do in this situation. He basically wanted to destroy the world around him, and he wanted to make people suffer. He wanted to make people suffer the way he was suffering as related to dealing with his life after this divorce of his parents. After the divorce of his parents, this is where this guy basically wanted to go out here and hurt people. Again, I've seen this happen many times as related to multiple research that I've done on these guys like this. Again, the whole thing is that they have a spectrum of violent behavior they want to participate in, because they're frustrated about the state of their life. And as they are frustrated about the state of their lives, what they want to do is go out here and spread their misery to other people. That's what they want to do. That's what this guy wanted to do. Again, he basically felt frustrated at 20 years old that he could not live his dreams and go out here and be that firefighter. So he wanted to go out here, and since he couldn't be an ally of the firefighters, and basically got upset when these authority figures he admired told him to move his vehicle, he wanted to go out here and move things forward by taking their own lives. And that's what led to him, I believe, going out here and participating in this ambush, where he again took the lives of these first responders who were doing nothing more than their jobs, but had them put into danger, more danger than they would fighting these fires. Now, fighting these fires in and of themselves is a danger, but this guy put these firefighters in danger because of a need, I believe, for revenge. Because when it comes to beta males, again, these males are very petty, and when things don't go their way, that's one thing that triggers them. And another thing that further triggers them is dealing with authority figures. Whenever they have to deal, especially with a male authority figure, that's when these guys start to lose it. And when they start to lose it, they look to destroy the world around them. Because they're not getting their own way. And when they can't get their own way, what these guys do is look to do harm to people. They look to do harm to people because they don't know how to resolve conflict as a man. They don't know how to navigate through their emotions, in that, yes, You have the feelings about a situation. You have the feelings of frustration about something, but you don't act on those feelings. And that's what I believe happened here. This guy was waiting for the right moment to again be able to act on his feelings of anger and frustration about the state of his life. And what he wanted to do as he was acting on the state of his life is again take the lives of those he admired because he couldn't become the man like they were. And that's what this, I believe, motivated this guy to again participate in this behavior where he wound up injuring one firefighter and again wound up taking the life of a battalion chief. Again, men who will not be able to spend time with their children and be with their families, all because this guy was in their feelings, and again, in his feelings, again, frustrated about a situation created by his beta male father, again, further pushing down, again, intergenerational violence, generation after generation, all because he didn't know how to, again, get those male life skills as related to being able to, again, process his feelings, able to think critically, able to resolve conflict. This male didn't understand these skills that a man has to have, and as he didn't understand how to function as a man, he became a danger to everyone and became a danger to everyone because he didn't know how to operate as a man, and created a very dangerous situation with this forest fire as related to things, created a situation with this forest fire that again he used as a cover to participate in taking the lives of these brave men who went out here and looked to put their lives on the line trying to save others and save again people's property and people's safety. I mean, these firefighters basically were looking to fight these fires and again look to defend and protect people's property. But this male, again, all he could do was think about himself, and as he could only think about himself, because of the dysfunctional way he was raised, this is what led to this male who basically went out here and again put men's lives in jeopardy. And again, he's basically a part of a larger pattern as related to the way we raise boys to become men. Because what's been happening over the last 60 years when it comes down to males like this is that because they're raised in a dysfunctional fashion, they don't know how to think critically. They don't know how to conflict resolve. They don't know how to deal with life's pressures because they were taught again that the world was the same for men and women, not understanding that the world is hard for men, and with the world being hard for men, they basically don't know how to function as a man because they think that the world is the same for men and women, even though the world is different for both. The world is much harder for men, and his life was made even harder because his beta male father not only did not teach him the male life skills and survival skills he needed to know, but also put his mother's life in jeopardy through domestic violence. And as he became frustrated, as he became angry, as related to the state of his life, this guy drifted into a situation with his guns and basically didn't know how to make life work, and he made life just that much harder for all those people in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And that's what happens when we don't acknowledge the man crisis going on in this country. These guys further escalate their behavior into violence, but sadly, many in this country don't want to acknowledge the man crisis in this country that's going on because we don't want to invest in our men. We don't want to invest in our men and getting them help and letting them get counseling and again help them get what they need. I mean, when it comes down to a lot of men out here, a lot of guys are troubled. They don't understand that life doesn't have to be like this where you're sitting there frustrated and angry, and if you could just get the information to help yourself, you could basically again look to move your life forward. But sadly, a lot of these guys don't get that information, and they sit there frustrated, they sit there simmering and boiling in anger. And as they sit there simmering and boiling in anger, eventually what happens is somebody pushes their buttons. And again, these male authority figures, they were just looking to again fight fires and again look to get the vehicles where they needed to go. And this guy got triggered, and after he got triggered, he wanted to again hurt those people who he once admired. And again, shows how what can happen when you have a man who doesn't understand what manhood is all about, he can go out here and create a crisis and put other people's lives in jeopardy instead of looking to do what God wants men to do, is be stewards and protect them. Now, if you want to learn how to identify the behavior of a beta male and help out someone in your life, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And hopefully it can help someone in your life learn and to identify behavior that can lead to them, again, breaking out of the pattern of a beta male and will grow up to become a healthy man, and hopefully help them overcome the crisis that's going on with most of the West's men. And if you want to see me make more videos talking about the man crisis and men's issues, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.